Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official NFL week number 6 picks and predictions, where I predict the final score of every NFL game, and we begin on Thursday night, the Prime Video. It is the Chiefs sitting -10 at home against the Denver Broncos, and what a bad year it's been for the Broncos, sitting at 1-4. The Russell Wilson contract, the trade for Sean Payton, giving up valuable draft capital. Guys, the Chiefs coming off that win, they actually did cover on the road at Minnesota. This is your typical Taylor Swift game. It's Thursday night. They're probably going to be showing her, and we all know the Chiefs are going to win this game and very likely cover. I just cannot pick Denver in a scenario like this. Although I will say, this is one thing to be wary of. The Kansas City Chiefs always lose an inexplicable home game in October. It always happens. I'm not saying it's going to be this game. The other thing, it's like, you got to make sure Travis Kelce is healthy, because the Chiefs, outside of Kelce, the skill position is kind of lacking in terms of that, although Justin Ross is kind of coming along either way. At this point, it's just impossible to pick Denver. I'll go in on the Chiefs there, -10. Moving on to the Sunday games, it's the Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. game. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Titans. The Titans are impossible to predict. I picked them last week. They ended up losing to Indianapolis on the road. Baltimore had a brutal loss against Pittsburgh. I think Baltimore gets back on track here. There's no way Baltimore falls to 3-3, in my opinion. They win this game 24-17. They cover the 3-point spread. It's your typical London game in Europe. The Europeans, they're going to be cranky. They're going to be mad because this is another low-scoring game. Every game in London seems like it's low-scoring. I think the over-under on this game is 40, and that's just the team that the Titans are. They play low-scoring, boring games. This is another one, but I will go in on the Ravens. I think they'll at least be able to push the -3 or probably cover. I've got them 24-17 in that one. Moving on to the 1 o'clock window games, it is Indianapolis traveling to Jacksonville. Big divisional matchup. Indianapolis without Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson has shown some things. It's a shame he's gotten injured twice, but Gardner Minshew, certainly a capable fill-in. You've got Jacksonville sitting -5. They've righted the ship. After a rough start, they won that game in London. Now they're 3-2, and I will take the Jaguars to win this game by 3 points. Still like them to win this division. Calvin Ridley, I'm expecting a big performance. And then looking at Indianapolis, Gardner Minshew, remember the situation back in week 2 when Baltimore was 8-point favorites over Indianapolis, and I said there's great value on Indy. It's a similar spot. It's a weird spread, 5 points, but I will take the value on Indianapolis because Jacksonville, even though they are 3-2, they haven't been overly impressive to the point where, Gardner Minshew's still a good player. He's going to keep this game close. He's a solid game manager. Next, we do have San Francisco traveling on the road at the Browns, and it's a weird situation right now for the Browns. Deshaun Watson, we're still not sure if he's going to be playing. He's not practicing. I would assume, considering he sat out the week before last, then the Browns had a bye. I would assume he'd be playing this week, but it's hard to say because he isn't practicing. The Browns 2-2 coming off that bye. San Francisco sitting 5-0 right now. And this is just a simple one. I just don't know how at this point we can pick against San Francisco. They've been so impressive. Brock Purdy's been impressive. Their defense is ridiculous. They annihilated Dallas at home. That was not a competitive football game. It felt like a mismatch. That had to have been very demoralizing for the Cowboys. It seemed like that game was never in question. Like San Francisco, they were just significantly better than Dallas, and I thought that surprised me. I thought Dallas would be in that game. But at this point, we do have to go with what our eyes have told us, and San Francisco's pretty good value, -5. Although you can kind of understand why they're only -5. Browns coming off a bye at home. They're traveling West Coast to East Coast. It's the NFL, guys. I'll remind you, we all know nobody's finishing 17-0. It's not like San Francisco's going to win every game, but I do see them winning this one there. The next game, another 1 o'clock game. It is the Commanders traveling to Atlanta. Atlanta sitting at 3-2. I've had a ton of luck picking with Atlanta or against them. They're -2.5. They're facing a Commanders team I thought would lose last week. They did lose, but now I'm back in on Sam Howell. I'm back in on the Commanders. I like a higher scoring game, and I think the Commanders win this one. This is the NFL, guys. This is a correction game. I don't see the Commanders falling to 2-4. I don't see Atlanta going to 4-2, even though Atlanta does have an underrated defense. It's still Desmond Ridder. They're offensively challenged in terms of throwing the ball. The Commanders will score in this game, even though the Commanders got lit up by Justin Fields. Their defense isn't that bad. Chase Young had 11 pressures in that game. He will have at least 2 sacks on Sunday. That's my prediction. And the Commanders will win on the road and easily cover the 2.5-point spread there. Next, we do have Seattle traveling West Coast to East Coast, taking on Cincinnati. And oh my goodness, I've already seen a lot of people that say Seattle is the great play. Cincinnati sitting -2.5, -3, according to some sports books. They're 2-3 right now. Seattle, they had their bye. They're 3-1. They've been great. They've got a 54% chance to win according to ESPN FPI. The value is on Seattle plus the 2.5. But guys, I can smell it. Cincinnati, after last week, I went in on them. I believed Joe Burrow was more healthy. He was. They easily covered in the desert, and they're going to cover in this game as well. Seattle's not going to be a 4-1 football team. They will fall to 3-2. This is a correction game. Cincinnati will go to 3-3. They cover this spread. Jamar Chase, the breakout game last week. I think it's going to be T. Higgins this week. And the Bengals win this game by 10 points at 1 o'clock. Next, we do have, oh my goodness, the 0-5 Carolina Panthers. I don't even think they have their first round pick. This is really bad for the Panthers. Although I will say, let's not give up on Bryce Young yet, folks. It's been 5 games. He's a rookie. The only issue with Bryce Young is he's just so small. He really needs to put on some muscle, but they will be in Miami. And yeah, Miami sitting -13.5. If you're a Dolphins fan, I mean, this is like the golden age right now, at least in terms of the past decade. I don't remember the last time we've seen Miami favored by 12 points, 13 points in back-to-back weeks. I mean, they're just going to throttle Carolina here. I don't know if they'll cover. It is the NFL. I do know that everyone is going to be, because think about it. Last week, it was a very similar game. It was the Giants at the Dolphins, and Miami was sitting like -12, -11, and everyone was still in on Miami, and they easily covered. So now I feel like everyone's going to even be in on Miami more. So now, since it's the NFL and it's unpredictable, Carolina might backdoor cover. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but Bryce Young at least showed some stuff last week. I think the over for this game is a lock because Carolina can score in garbage time with Adam Thielen a little bit, and Young throwing the ball, trying to get him some confidence. But yeah, I would expect Miami to win this game. Next, it is Minnesota traveling to Chicago. So both of these teams are way better than their record. Chicago should be 2-3. Minnesota very easily could be 3-2. There is an issue, though, with Justin Jefferson and his injury. What's going on with that? What's going on with the future of Minnesota football? Probably not bringing Kirk Cousins back next year. Do they just say, screw it, we're tanking. We're going to try and get a top pick, draft a young quarterback to pair with Justin Jefferson. Guys, I actually like Chicago and Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback. I said it last week. He's a beast. He can throw his... Look at what happened with DJ Moore. He's second right now in passing touchdowns. He's officially entered the MVP race, and he's about to improve to 2-4 on the year. They're going to win this game outright. I said they would win outright as 6-point underdogs on the road on Thursday night at Washington, and now I'm still taking them, even though I like Minnesota. Like Minnesota, again, they're better than 1-4, but the issue is Justin Jefferson is out, and it's a tough road spot for them. So I will take Chicago to win that game outright. Another 1 o'clock game. It is New Orleans traveling to Houston. And the storyline here, C.J. Stroud, 0 interceptions as a rookie still, 7 passing touchdowns. They're 2-3. They've been in every game. New Orleans sitting at 3-2. Good defense, kind of lackluster offense. Guys, this is going to be very similar to the Steelers-Houston game from a few weeks ago. I think this Houston team, they're solid. I'm guessing C.J. Stroud, at some point, he's going to throw his first interception. He's still a rookie. I will take them to win this game 28-18. New Orleans, not great on offense, nothing explosive. They do have a solid defense, don't get me wrong. But Houston at home in this spot, they win in a virtual pick'em game, and they improve to 3-2. Next, moving on to the 4 o'clock games, it is the Raiders at home against the Patriots. So you have the Patriots sitting at 1-4. It just feels like impossible to pick the Patriots right now. I did pick the Patriots last week against New Orleans, I'll be honest. It didn't work out for me. So it's like, look, you know what I actually think? I think the Patriots played at Vegas last year. Wasn't it that crazy end of the gameplay or something? Kind of weird that they're going back there again, but I will take the Raiders to win this game. Lower scoring, yes, lower scoring, 19-17. I guess I am taking Bill Belichick again to cover the spread. It hasn't worked out for me, but I mean, it's like I wouldn't advise picking this either way. I would say probably to take the under because I saw the over/under was 42. The Raiders just played a really low-scoring Monday night game. Seems like that's just kind of what their team is at this point, so lower-scoring game there. We do have 3 425 games, so that's nice. It is Detroit sitting at 4-1, traveling to Tampa Bay. Detroit -3 in this game. Tampa Bay coming off that bye. The Baker Mayfield resurgence. You've got Mike Evans. You've got Chris Godwin. That's a decent offense. I'm very concerned, though, about Tampa Bay's running ability. And I will take Detroit to improve to 5-1. I am concerned about Detroit on the road. That's why I'm taking Tampa Bay plus the 3. But I do think they pull this game out because Detroit, they're going to have a breakout year. They're making the playoffs. I think they win 10. Honestly, I think they probably win 11 or 12 games at this point because this would be them going to 5-1. And let's be honest, do we really think Tampa Bay is going to 4-1? I don't think so. But Tampa Bay gets my respect. I think they can cover a 3-point spread at home against a Detroit team who normally plays a lot better at home than on the road. Another 425 game. It is the Rams sitting -6.5. Taking on the Cardinals, and the Cardinals really coming down to earth at this point, 1-4. They failed to cover recently, and you've got a Rams team. Seems like they're loaded now with Cooper Kupp and Puka. Matt Stafford, he looks a little bit healthy. We will take the Rams big in this one, 31-16. Again, it just seems like the Cardinals, they were always due for regression. I have no clue what the future for them looks like at this point. I would imagine you would just sit Kyler Murray the entire... It's just weird. Like, what do you do if you're the Cardinals? Because you think about it, you're gonna very likely have 2 top picks. Do you have to play Kyler Murray to prove that he's healthy so you can trade him for something? Or do you just not play him at all, completely tank, trade him at the end of the year, draft, Drake May or Caleb Williams? It's a very tough situation. They do have Paris Johnson Jr., who's developing as hopefully a franchise tackle for them. But yeah, just a bad spot there. Another 425 game. This was the primetime 425 game. Yeah, this would have been it. Because before the regular season, everyone thought the Jets were going to have Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, this game, it is what it is. You have Philadelphia sitting 5-0. Taking on the Jets. The Jets may be a little bit better on offense, but I think they had some lucky explosive plays last week. Philadelphia -6.5. And yeah, all of the numbers love Philadelphia. Philadelphia should probably be -9 or -8.5 in this game. There's great value on Philadelphia. On the road, the Jets defense is no joke. That's why I don't have Philadelphia scoring anything crazy like 30-plus points. They're going to win this game. They're going to cover the spread, though, for sure. Moving on to the 8:20 game. It's the preview of the Super Bowl. It's the Giants traveling to Buffalo, and this is a rare Sunday night game that's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Will Saquon Barkley be back for this one? Maybe. Buffalo sitting -14. This is not a competitive football game, folks. It is not going to be close. I do not see Daniel Jones on the road at night in Buffalo already with a horrible primetime record doing anything. The Giants do not have a good receiving core. Saquon, again, he might be back. You'd think he would. I thought he was going to be back last week. But at this point, does it even matter? Buffalo at home sitting 3-2. It's not like, they need these wins, man. They cannot fall to 3-3. And then the Giants, what do you do with the Giants? You still have Daniel Jones signed through next year on a big contract. It'll be interesting, but this is a rare Sunday night game that will be an absolute blowout. It will not be competitive football at all there in that one. And then this is like the polar opposite. So this is an amazing Monday night game. Dallas sitting -2.5. ESPN FPI finds value in the Chargers coming off a bye. 55% chance to win. Guys, this is the same thing with the Chargers and these primetime games. It's going to come down to a field goal. It's going to be really close, but I will take Dallas. I love the over in this game. Love the over. Dallas, they need to bounce back. They're in a dome. Dak Prescott's going to have a really good game. CeeDee Lamb's going to put up huge numbers. That is my projection after scoring just 10 points last Sunday night. Now Dallas on Monday Night Football. They will win this game, and I guess they'll cover the 2.5, but it's basically a push depending on which sports book you get it at. But guys, that is going to do it for my official NFL Week number 6 picks and predictions. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.